John Reid covers the Jags. He was there for last night's game. He covers the Jags for the Florida Times-Union. And John, kind enough to join us this morning. That victory calmed things down, John?
I think for Doug Marrone's sake and others with the Jaguars, I hope they think so.
Okay.
They had a good win, though.
Okay. Are we too far down the road with Jalen Ramsey? Is there any chance for salvaging this?
I think on the Jaguar side it could be. I think that Doug Marrone is not pretty much in this situation, even though it looked like it was with the confrontation on the sideline. I think that management, whatever his issue is, it sounds like it could be hashed out with conversation. But I think from hearing his podcast yesterday and just I kind of think that he's ready to pull out of town here. I think that, over the years, I don't know if he just liked the philosophy that's going on there with management. Obviously, he wants to get paid. He want to get the extension. He's mad about that. And I just think I don't think Jacksonville right now for him is a big enough market for what he wants to do for his career.
Yeah, and I understand that. There are guys who did that. Dwight Howard did that in Orlando. He wanted to be bigger than that market. So I certainly understand that. I'm not sure. He's got to be able to read the room with Tom Coughlin and Doug Marrone. These are no-nonsense guys. They're not guys, who are going to be like, hey, like John Gruden would go, hey, come on over here. Hey, come on, let's tone it down a little bit. They don't sound like that's the kind of guys they are, their personalities. It's pretty much, this is how we do it, and if you don't do it that way, then we don't want you around. Because Ramsey's certainly worth the extension. I don't know if, Tom Coughlin's going to go, yeah, you know what? I don't like this, but here's all of this money. I'll make you the highest paid corner in the league.
Well, Dan, you know this. I'm kind of old school guy, Young athletes now. Some of the things that Coughlin did in New York, it worked. He earned that respect because he was a hard-edged coach. But now you have these younger athletes, and they don't take into a lot of being under control. And I think that says a lot about Jalen Ramsey. He's always, you're not going to muzzle him. You're not going to keep him from showing his personality. And you can be as hard as you can, but I think if you try to take that approach, which I think the Jaguars have, I just think it's going to be a conflict. And I think with today's athletes, I covered the NBA for 12 years. It's the same thing there. That you have to give them a voice, and you have to allow them to be who they are. And I think that's the difference from 10 years ago to now, that they don't really regard that type of hard edge respect and hard edge and you're going to conform to what the authorities say. And I think they do things personally to overstep that type of control. And I think that's what's going on with Jalen and Coughlin right now.
He's John Reid. He covers the Jags for the Florida Times-Union. Joining us, Dan Patrick Show. How big is Gardner Minshew this morning in Jacksonville?
I wouldn't be shocked if people here put on those mustaches like they did at Washington State. I tell you, Dan, it's been remarkable just to see how this kid has come in. I saw him play in Baltimore the first preseason game. He had a tough game. He got hit hard. He didn't, it just seemed like he didn't adapt too well to the speed of the NFL. And to see from that opening preseason game, to see where this kid at now, passing for about, 74% of his passes, and just seems like to be under control at all the time. And his accuracy is just, it's just incredible. And I think they got something special with this kid.
But you got a situation at least brewing. You paid Foles that money in a couple of months. Is this going to be a quarterback controversy?
Well, I think it would be a good problem for the Jaguars, don't you think?
You went from no quarterbacks to two quarterbacks.
Well, I obviously think paying Nick Foles $88 million, I think when he comes back, I think he's going to obviously get that job. I think that's the thing that's going. I think you have to pump the brakes a little bit for this kid. I mean, there's a lot more games he's got ahead. There's a lot more things that he has to learn. But I think when Nick Foles comes back, he's going to assume that starting job. But I think this kid has done nothing less than impressive. And just to have this team has not really had a solid backup for the years that I've covered them. So even that is in itself is a remarkable thing to say about the Jaguars. They have a solid, strong backup quarterback who can step in for the starter and produce the way he's producing. And I think when you look at the Jaguars, they have a history of having quarterback problems. And just to have something on the long term, I think is very good for this franchise to look down the line beyond Nick Foles and say this is our guy probably for the next 10 years. And that's something that hadn't been going on with this franchise.
What uniform is Jalen Ramsey wearing on Monday?
I tell you what, a lot of talk about he could wind up with the Patriots. I wouldn't be shocked if Kansas City put something together to get him. I see them. I know they might be hesitant to give up a first-round pick, but you're looking at a franchise in Kansas City that's looking for they're patterning themselves on what do we need to do to get over the hurdle against the Patriots. Well, here's this cornerback here that can do it all. Let's go out and get him. So I would not be shocked if something come on the line with a Kansas City or someone like that to go after him. I do say this, Dan. I think his time is done here. I know he played in the game last night. I don't think you can mend the fences with Jalen Ramsey and Tom Coughlin and whatever's going on with management. And the issue is not with Doug Marrone. The issue is with Tom Coughlin and the management. And I don't think you can mend that fence.
John, thanks for joining us this morning. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
That's John Reid, covers the Jags for the Florida Times-Union.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.